Hello there, my friends. This is Craig, and welcome to my channel, The Atheist Experiment. Just an update on my health. It's very good right now, and I return to work in a couple of days, and I'm still very excited to get started. Something I didn't mention last time in my video is concerning my health was that I had developed a cough in the last few weeks, and of course it makes me nervous because it's very commonly talked about in cancer center, that people worry about their cancer returning, and every little problem you might have you might equate to getting sick again, So it was kind of concerning for me that this cough had returned. But when I spoke to my doctor about it, he showed me the scan of my lungs and he talked about it, and he said that I had just developed something called pneumonitis. And that's just an inflammation of the lungs, and it's relatively harmless. It will clear up on its own. And he still is of the opinion that I am completely free of cancer in my entire body. So that made me feel a lot better too, knowing that this cough is just a little something called pneumonitis. And he says in the worst case scenario, I might need a puffer for a couple of weeks, but it should clear up on its own. So I'm not concerned about that too much anymore. So yeah, other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm going to get right down to business here and get to my religious topic for today. So when I was a believer, I always wondered, and I would pose this question to anyone who is currently a believer: when my soul goes to heaven, what state is it in? Is it in the state I was in just before I died? Because that could potentially be an awful state to be in for eternity. If you were someone with Alzheimer's or any other kind of dementia, that would be a horrible state to remain in forever. So I can't believe that it would be that state. And who decides what state you're going to be in? I guess God makes that decision, but another option would be maybe I would go to heaven as I was when I was at my mental or physical peak, or when I was sinning the least, or at a time when I was closer to God. Maybe I would go to heaven as a child. Matthew 19:14. But Jesus said, "Suffer the little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." Maybe that was what Jesus meant, since metaphor is so common in the Bible. So I don't know what state your soul would be in. Some meta state, I guess, that we can't conceive of. But when I go to heaven, I kind of want to be me. If I was a person who believed in heaven, I guess I'd want to be me, who I am, not some altered state. I guess I'm curious about what state I'd be in. If I lived to be 80, would I be an 80-year-old man for the rest of my life, for the rest of eternity? Doesn't sound appealing to me. I'd rather not exist, I think, and not know that I don't exist. What about babies who die? Are there millions of baby souls in heaven? How useless is that? What a pathetic existence. And if abortion is so wrong, according to fundamentalists, because life begins at the moment of conception, does that mean that there are millions of fetus souls in heaven? That's even more pathetic. I would even say immoral. To exist for eternity as an underdeveloped fetus or zygote or whatever stage the pregnancy might be at when it was terminated. There's got to be millions of those. If the answer is that God gives you your soul, as it would be if you were to continue to develop, then that rules out the argument for free will. Your future is ordained and pre-decided. And I have been thinking, there can be no free will as long as there's a God. Therefore, there can be no God as long as we have free will. If God is all-seeing, all-knowing, past, present, and future, then the future is preordained and you have no free will. If God already knows the future, then you as an individual cannot change it by making any decisions. Those decisions were pre-decided by God. So what you view as a decision has already been predicted. So did you really make a decision? Or did you do what God knew you would do? If the future can be accurately and perfectly predicted, then you don't have free will. If you think you have free will, then there can be no God in the form of an all-knowing, all-seeing, past, present, and future knowing, omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent being. Whenever you ask a question to a religious person about why God allows such terrible things to happen, the answer is invariably, it's just God's will. Well, did God give us free will or not? If disaster is God's will, then we have no free will. God is pulling the strings. But if you ask the same people why we are sinners and why people do terrible things, the answer is that God gave us free will to choose between good and evil. So which is it? This is a paradox. You can't have both. You can't have one person, one omnipotent being pulling all the strings, yet think that you have free will to make your own choices. It is self-contradictory and makes no sense to a rational person. To ask yet a further question, did God give free will to everyone or just the few he chose? For example, does a person with a mental illness have free will? They are physiologically unable to make rational or irrational decisions. Does a cognitively impaired person have free will? It is estimated that 1/4 of the population has or is dealing with mental illness. Based on that, it seems God has let a lot of people shit out of luck. And for what reason? Oh, God works in mysterious ways. Or there is no God, and the human race must take care of each other and work together to make this a better world. So I am not advocating for or against the existence of free will. I'm on the fence in that regard, and that is a wonderful philosophical discussion that I would love to engage in with someone. I do advocate, though, that free will has nothing to do with whether or not a God exists, because I don't believe one does. Thank you very much. That's all for today. And if you hit the subscribe button and a like button or a dislike button, whatever you want, don't forget to click on the bell as well so you can get notifications when new videos come out. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Hey there, my friends. If you enjoy my videos and you would like to see more, subscribe. And don't forget to scroll down and hit the little bell so you can get notifications. I will be putting out a video every Sunday evening, and if you like it, hit the like button. And if you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Also, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Catch you next time, and have a great week.